You'll never create club head speed with driver until you learn to do this properly, and that is squat in the downswing. So this is something we see all the best players in the world do, and it creates vertical force. Vertical force is the biggest power producer in the golf swing, but it's something that amateur golfers routinely do wrong. So that's where we're going to get into 3 main keys you need to be aware of to squat properly and what to avoid. And absolutely, then we're going to be able to gain a ton of club head speed by having a proper squat like the top pros and have much better vertical force. So guys, before we dive into the meat of the video here, so let me hit 2 shots. I'm going to hit 1 shot where I'm doing the more amateur version of squatting. We're going to look at club head speed and distance. And the other one, we're going to do the more pro version. Again, club head speed and distance. So you know this video is worthwhile to watch so you can see what's going to happen once you do it properly. So let's do the amateur squat. Okay. Again, not bad of a distance. I mean, for the amateur golfer, that isn't too bad at all. I mean, 226 of carry and 254 of total. So not bad, but we can see club head speed under 100 miles an hour. So knowing whether that's good or bad is in relation to what you normally do. So for me, my normal speed is around 105 cruising on the golf course. Okay, so that is quite considerably lower. And that felt like the same swing intent I would have out on the golf course of speed. So really lost a bit there. So we're going to do what the pros do now. So it's not going to look hugely different. It would actually look probably a little bit faster through more efficient movement. But watch what happens to the distance straight away. So as we can see there, watch what my body did. See how my body moved back? That's a bit of the video coming up. So you can see there, carry-wise, 271. Total 293. Club head speed, where I'd normally like to see it, 106. Big difference. Let's get into why. Okay, so let's get into those keys of the 3 differences between the pros and the amateur squats, the things you need to do here, okay? So when we're doing the more kind of amateur squat, and I see this with players all the time, with guys who send in videos to me over on Skillist, which is where I do all my online lessons, we'll see quite often they'll type in their first lesson, I'm trying to squat to create power. And you'll see them do this as they start to take the club back. Lower themselves down. So whether it's early in the backswing or whether it's late, the lowering down. Now, of course, you can see why that is, because their intent is to lower down and squat to start the downswing, but that intent is making them do it really early. So when you lower your body down too much, your swing arc height plummets into the ground. So you can imagine if you're starting, let's say the downswing from an already lowered position in the backswing, and you lower down more, if you don't do anything to quickly get the club back up out of the ground, the club's going to hit the ground really early. So that's where you see a big jump up going through the golf ball. But it's going to make you hit it super, super wayward at the same time. So lowering down the backswing and then lowering down again and then standing up is what we see a lot of amateur golfers do. God, timed that one up nicely and it still went lovely down the middle, but 209 of carry, 89 miles an hour or 90. Now that was a demonstration. That was quite a smooth swing because I was trying to do the movements to show you guys. So that's probably why I timed it up nicely as well. But you're not only going to hit the ball shorter, you're more than often going to hit it more wayward, a little bit more wayward than that one. Still nicely down the middle, isn't it, that one? So what we want to do, we want to keep our height as we're moving in that backswing. So when we're keeping our height, we're locking and loading that shotgun. So then as we move down, we can then dig down into that ground. We actually do see some of the best players in the world just lower down a smidge as they get up to, let's say, the top of their backswing, but it's not much. So that's where if we're not lowering down too much, going up to the top, then we can get into that ground and turn and extend. We don't have to do anything funky when it comes to our swing arc height to raise it back up. The motion I like players to feel to get a good, let's say, centered and nice and tall backswing is feel like they're with their body starting a lawnmower. So when you're starting a lawnmower, that's your motion. It looks very much like a golf swing, backswing rotation. Ignore what the arm does. Do not do that in the backswing. That's going to be awful for you. But the body motion, because we're turning, tilting, extending. So that motion really creates what we need to keep some height in that backswing. So that movement, really keeping nice and tall, turning really nice. That's going to give us room to be able to do that lovely little squat properly. Now the second step is arguably the most important one. So that's where this is the biggest mistake amateurs do make. And that is when they're squatting, they're just squatting. Makes, like, let's say, logical sense, doesn't it? That's the word, squatting down. When you're squatting, you are just lowering down towards the ground. That's not what the top players are doing. They're getting lower, but they're doing it specifically. So again, if you just lower down, you're not getting any pressure onto the lead side. You're not rotating towards the target. You're not having any good shots. What you actually hit is the one I just hit last with. Not that far offline, but you would flail it out towards the right. Because again, you're just going to lower down and then you're going to stand up as a result again. So that's where that lowering and standing back up is going to happen a ton. So that's where if I just lower myself down, there's no movement into the lead side, which is the target where we're hitting the ball. There's no rotation from there. It is just like players are just trying to squat. You've got to squat, blending in stuff. So again, if I just squat down, my body instinctively there, try to jump back up to try and hit target. Again, club head speed, went straight down to 95. So, okay, this is super, super important here. So I hope you all have stuck around for this part of the video. So, and that is where, what the best players are doing. They are squatting left. They're loading into that left leg. Some top players do it before they even get to the top of the backswing. They start to lower and squat and load into that left side. That's the target side. So when you really nail this, you really see a big bump in club head speed. Because if you're keeping that nice height and then you're loading into that left side, that's going to, one, enable you to continue to turn and move towards a target. But then, because that weight is loaded into the side and lowered down, you're spiking and loading that vertical force down, and then we just need to come out, which we're going to get into in a minute. So you've got to squat left towards a target. Squatting just down does nothing but hurt you. So squat left. And guys, again, I know a lot of you maybe get a little bit tired of me saying this. I do have a disability. You know, cerebral palsy is what I'm affected with, which affects my left side. I can do this, so you can do it too. So that's why when I talk about my disability, I say it for that reason, and a little bit as well here. People online are savage when it comes to distance you hit a golf ball. So that's where me, professional golfer, hitting it 105 average is quite slow for a professional. So and that's where, again, the context, again, I am disabled, so I can't really swing it 120 like a lot of the other pros. So load it into left, squat left is the key here. And then we're going to get into last, again, really important bit. So let's squat left, not dead straight down. Okay guys, the last and third final part here, and that is when players are squatting down, unless their body reacts to the squat, they will just stay there. They're just trying to stay low. Again, it's going to do nothing. What we see, like we said in the other points, if we see a player just lowering, they're most likely going to instinctively stand up to pull the swing height more up. But a lot of players, when they squat, they don't know what to do after that. Absolutely, because it's, again, not massively taught, to be honest. So you'll see players squat down and just stay down. And again, that is going to create zero speed. It's going to be hard to hit it. I feel like I almost missed that. So you can see there, look how far I hit off the toe. I've really felt like that was close to being an air ball. So when we are squatting, again, we're doing it for a reason. We're loading that force into the ground. So squatting, lowering down movement is only part of it. So that is where, when we're loading into that ground, something I didn't say on the second point as well there, when we are getting into that ground with that left side, that left hip starts to move back as well, moves the body into flexion, gives you an extra little bit of squat visual as well. So you see me talk about that a lot on my channel. But if we're lowering down, we have got to be able to get that force that we've just stored into the ground to come back up and relate to speed through the ball, we've got to extend. You see so many top players extend through the ball. You see him snapping the lead side. You see even someone like Rory, as he's turning, he actually extends both legs, which is very impressive. So that's where lead side extension, you go down into the ground and it boom, snaps out going through the golf ball. Ultimately, that snap, a lot of players like to feel it from just doing that, absolutely. Some players don't. Some players like to feel it from pushing out the ground. That creates that exact same movement. Some would argue it's safer to do as well, via that method as well. So it's like you're loading down and you push out of the ground in this direction, out from the toes, boom. And then that moves you back. So you will see for myself, when I've hit shots there, where am I all the time? I'm there, because my body instinctively does that. It instinctively pushes out the ground from the toes, extends out, that gets the vertical force that's in the ground back out again. So push out from the toes as you go through, or if you like more the feeling of just letting that left leg snap up going through the ball, but that's going to get that vertical force you put in the ground and get it to move back out again. So let's get another one here. Oh, that felt nice. Again, club head speed, just a normal swing for me, 105, just about there. Again, when you're smacking drivers, it does get tiring, isn't it? So I'm probably just going to get slower as time goes on. So you've got to get that lead side, boom, snapping out. Let's talk about a drill to do that. So an easy, simple little drill I like players to do to get that load in, snap out, is train that snap out first. And because why we want to train that snap out first is because everything else is useless if we don't do it. So that's where get an alignment stick, put it along your foot line. And then what we do, we want this stick to elevate up into the air, but we want to do it via coming back out again with the lead side. So letting that lead side snap up and extend. Again, you can do that by pushing out from the toes back, or you can do that via just straightening it. So you can see there, not doing anything with my arms, my body, it's just with that lead side there, snapping up. Look what happens to my rotation going through the ball area as well. See how it rotates me really nicely. It just gets that repetition. And when you're doing it, be loaded into that side, into that lead side. Be loaded where you can see stress being created here on the stick. Boom. That's that force that we're getting out of the ground into the ball. And a drill to train the before movement. So again, I love the feel of starting a lawnmower, staying up, that's awesome. But what I want you to do is just train that transitional move. So go up to a nice full movement up to the top and just boom, squat down, lower left, get the left hip sinking back as you do that. So two players talk about that a lot, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood. Of course, they've been playing pretty good over the last couple of weeks, them two. But that's a really good move. Again, gets the pressure loading into the left, squatting left. And as we do that, when that left hip goes back, that gives us a little bit of the squatting visual as we do so. Loading left, just that first little movement, train it. So you can see here, pressure is coming out to that lead side. Very much feel versus real because we would have a little bit more pressure in that trail side with driver as we start that downswing, but it'll definitely be more loaded on that left side. So if we do just that rehearsal, boom, boom, and then do a bunch with getting that stick coming out of the ground via a good push, then we'll be in a good one to go from there. Okay, so let me have a little look here. I'm absolutely a bit tired now, I'll tell you that. So this will be a good one if I can get some good speed on this. So especially me with my disability, I do get tired hitting driver really quickly because that left side just gives out after a while. So let's see if I can hit this down the middle as well. It might be a big block, who knows? Let's give it a go. Let's put those keys in motion. Little bit necky. Not bad though. I mean, if that was out on the golf course, I would not be too displeased. My normal kind of shot shape there. Little start left cut. As we can see there, 106 pretty much. About 260 carry, that's normal for me. 281, happy with that. But as you can see, a big difference from sub 100 doing the amateur squat to now over 100 from there. So takes a bit of time to learn to do this, absolutely. This isn't something that's just gonna boom click, you've got to train it. But conceptually knowing it's a squat left, it's not just a dead straight going down. So once you get this and start to squat correctly, your club head speed will go up quite quickly with driver. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified anytime I put out a video.